Oh, look at that. We're live.
We are live. Yes.
All right. Yeah, we've been how's everyone doing? How are you doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
Doing
Doing
well?
well. Yeah, man, I tell you, AI is just exploded. There's so much stuff going on. I tell you, it's very hard to keep up. But yeah,
Uh
doing
I,
well.
I don't even try to keep up anymore. It's
Right.
like if something is very important, it will eventually bubble up to me and I'll see and or hear about it. Maybe it's not a good plan, but
That's true.
yeah. So anyone watching, say hi in the comments because we're trying this new feature in StreamYard that will automatically. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. All right, just try. Someone just try. Please make a comment or say hi or something because we want to try something.
Yes.
So yeah,
If you happen to be watching,
yeah.
just say a quick hello and let's see if our configurations for the live stream are
Yeah,
working like we
if it works the way it's supposed to
expect.
work. All right. Okay. So let me share my screen and we can recap what we did last time, and
Hmm.
then we can talk about what are we gonna do today.
Okay.
Just to add this to the stage. Let me change this. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Let's put it in the middle. I'll move this here so it's not distracting people. Whoops. Where was it? Here, right? There you go. All right. So what do we do? So last time we created the. Oh, look at that! Hello,
Oh, look, we
Jafar.
got a
It
voiceover.
works. It works. It
There we
works. All right. So the comments show up automatically, so you don't have to
Jafar,
click
hello.
that. Yeah. All right. So last time we did the Terraform agent, right? We created a simple Terraform agent that knows how to create Terraform configuration, and that one was using the AWS Terraform MCP server, right?
That's right.
And then what do we want to do today? So we have the file, right? Let's say we have the file and or files, Terraform files, config files. What do we want to do next is we want to have an agent that will go and actually create a PR in our GitHub repo, right? So when I started researching this, and Jason did the same, like he pinged me, I was like, oh, but there is already a GitHub MCP server. It is. However, the one that's out there, I think that one's the official one, right? The
Yes,
official
it
GitHub
is.
MCP server.
Yeah.
You can create a PR using that MCP server. However, in order to create a PR, you already have to have a branch with like your changes stage and committed and all that. So anyway, so long story short, what I did with the help of Gemini, I
Hmm.
created a. I'm not gonna lie, it was all me, right? It was Gemini. So I created a simple MCP server, Git PR MCP server, and what this one does or allows us to do is to actually stage the files, right? So it allows us to. Let me find the actual tool that's interesting. Not this one. So it allows us to clone the repository, which is what we'll have to do, right? We'll have to clone some repo. So if you think about the whole workflow, right, we want the agent to create some Terraform configuration. We want the agent to clone the repository where we have all the configuration or where we want to store the configuration,
That's right.
clone it, make the changes, right? Add the files, whatever, and then also create a PR.
Hmm.
So up until that point, it's all AI and agents. And then from that point on, right, the user, the maintainer, the owner of the repo can go and review the PR, right?
Right.
And what does then happen? Jason, you tell me.
So let's talk about that. So I think what we were trying to achieve, Peter, was we wanted to try to make use of AI agents in the system where it made sense, and use automation right where it made sense. And so if you think about it, the agent is using its reasoning capabilities to come up with what it needs to do. It kind of reviews the code. Of course, it reviews whatever knowledge it has through Terraform MCP server, that kind of stuff, right? And then it comes up with the code that it needs to actually create. And so what we're doing is saying, okay, agent, that makes sense for you to do, but after that, right, we want to keep the human in the loop. We want to continue to use a traditional GitOps workflow because that allows us to review what the agent has created. And we can say, yes, this is good. No, this is not, that kind of thing. So once we've got a PR submitted and it looks good, the PR actually will trigger a GitHub action. The first GitHub action that it's going to trigger is just a quick Terraform plan, right? So since we are creating infrastructure as code, we want to use Terraform to actually see what's going to happen when we try to execute the code, that the Terraform configuration code that the agent created.
Yeah, and this is this one, right?
Yes, that's what that is right there. So this is the this is what happens when you submit a pull request against this repo. It will automatically run a Terraform plan against that code just to check to see if things are well formed. I even put a little check in here to make sure that we are deploying free resources or next.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you don't
get
put
that in there too. And the reason why is because, right, we don't want the agent to get smart and say, oh, I can, create a XL large or something like that. Again, we're relying on the agent to think about what it wants to do, yet relying on the humans to maintain like the quality of what it's doing, if that makes sense. So when it merges it in, again, this is sort of a traditional GitOps workflow. This is something that exists today. This, we're kind of plugging agency into an existing GitOps workflow, if that makes sense. Yeah. So all of this kind of exists today. And so once you merge the PR, it will automatically run a Terraform plan. And that's what that workflow, that second workflow there on the left is at the bottom. It just basically shows, that one. That's the one that actually will apply the changes. Yeah.
Oh no, the plan is the first one. The apply one will actually, right?
Yeah. I thought I saw it out of order, but yeah, yeah, that's it. Apply is the first one. I guess it's in like alphabetical order or something.
Yeah. There's the coast.
There's a little coast guard. Yeah, not coast guard, but that's very simple. I mean, I could have used a tool like InfraCost or something, and we're not endorsed by InfraCost or anything. But yeah, this is just a simple check.
Yeah, and we could theoretically like also have this in the agent itself if we wanted to, right? To like do this before it actually creates the resource, right? To make sure, hey, don't use any of these if we wanted to, right?
That's right.
But this is still good to have an additional check later on, right?
That's right. That's right. So again, just to harp on the point a little bit, right? The agent is acting like our developer, really. It's like it's a persona that the agent is kind of, assuming. They're assuming like almost like a junior developer kind of role here. And so this is where, the seniors or the code maintainers, right, have the opportunity to say, yep, that's good. We'll allow that. No, that's not good. Go back to the drawing board and try.
Yeah. All right, let's do. Okay, so let me get back to actually. Well, this is what we were playing with. So let me delete this one. But what I'll do now is I'll just go and deploy what we did last time because I didn't deploy it right yet. So last time we had this Terraform server, right? So let's do that one. I'm just looking for a terminal. Doesn't matter where it is. We'll do apply. So apply this one. And then if I go, I'll create the other one in the UI so people see how you can do it in the UI. Oh, I already have it. I'll remove it so we can add it there. There you go. So this is the Terraform AWS Labs Terraform MCP server. So we had this last time as well. Now let's also add deploy the agent. So let's copy this guy.
So just for verbosity, right? So what you're doing is you are adding a GitHub MCP server via like command line, via a custom resource definition for Kubernetes, or so you can do it in the CLI, or you can do it in
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we have it here in as CRDs, as resources, Kubernetes resources.
There we go. Yeah.
But we could also do the exact same thing. See, it's here, Terraform agent. We could do the exact same thing here, and I'll actually do the other agent from here just so people see it. But it's easier to have it in YAML because it's like you can just deploy it, and it's easier to manage it that way. All right, so we have. Let's just go here, make sure that this works, and so create a VM config. I don't remember what we used.
I think we used can you create me a server in Virginia? I think that's what we used.
Yeah. But this is what we need. Something
that's
like
pretty
this,
much what we need. But
right? So this is working. All right. So we have this part, right? So that's this part. I'm trying to see if I can make this like let's see.
If you use that stroke up the top, the green stroke, that'll maybe make it green or something.
Oh wait, not this one. Yeah, you're right. This one, right? Like this one is done, right? So what we want to do next is let me copy this box and we'll call this a Git PR agent, right? So this, and then this would be Git PR MCP server, right? So an agent that knows how to create PRs, right?
That's right.
So we have this, and let me share this in the comments here if people want to check it out. This is the Git PR MCP server that I've created with the help of Claude. Feel free to use it. Feel free to change it. Do whatever you want with it. And let's go back and let's actually add this. So I have it, for the simplicity's sake, I have it running here locally. So let me actually rerun this. Delete the state again. So this is running locally on port 99999. We also have docs if you want to run this in Kubernetes, right? There's like a doc that shows you how we could just deploy it into Kubernetes as well and run it from there. But this was just an easier way to get up and running. All right, so let's go back here and we'll say create a new tool server. So we have this one already. Now we'll create another one. We'll go to the URL. We have it running at localhost 9999/SSE, right? SSE is the endpoint. And then we'll call this Git PR MCP, right? So let's add this one. Take a free refresh. There you go. Now we have the Git PR MCP, and these are all the tools that are available.
All right.
Like, so we can clone the repo, we can create a Git branch, we can create a PR, a summary, diff, commit history, like a bunch of different things. Now, in order to use this, we have to create an agent, right? So let's do and create that. So I'll call our agent Git PR agent. I think that's what I called it, right? Yes, Git PR agent.
Yes.
Agent that knows how to create Git, how to work with Git and create pull requests, right? Requests. I think since last time, I think we added these default instructions to the agent. So what I'll do is I will remove these and we'll start with, we know that we want to have the agent go to this repo and make changes in this repo or make pull requests to this repo, right? So what I'll do is I'll copy this one, copy the repo, and basically say, you are a Git PR agent that uses tools, that knows how to work with Git and create clone repositories, create branch, create and update files, commit files to branches, right? And create PRs. That's it, pull requests, right? Create pull requests. The only repo you have access to is this one. Now, the reason I'm doing this is just because I don't want to pass this copy paste this repo name
Right.
all the time, right? But you could, if you wanted to, you could think of having a generic Git PR agent, right?
Mhm.
That would basically ask you, hey, which repo do you want me to use to create the PRs in, right? To clone, to create the PRs in, right?
So this kind of illustrates the kind of scoping, I guess, that you can do with an agent, right? If you only want this particular agent to, have access to a specific repo or something, not only can you do that, I guess, through the, access keys through the tools, but then you can also prompt it, right? So that it just doesn't
Yes.
even try or to reason in that direction at all. I'm assuming that's what we're kind of
Yes.
doing.
Yeah. Just you're right. However, this is not a replacement for actually having like proper access control
Right, of
mechanisms and
course.
whatnot,
Oh,
right?
of
Yeah.
course, of course.
This
Yeah.
is more, I see this as a convenience to whoever is using this agent,
Oh, I see.
right?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Right. More like this, not like you could still probably prompt engineer your way out and have it access some other repo, right? So this is not a security
I
boundary. It's
understand.
right. It's more of a so Peter doesn't have to copy paste that URL all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah. So okay, so we have this, and I'll add another line here that says if anything is unclear, please ask the user to clarify and or provide information.
So Jafar asks a really good question.
Yes.
Jafar asks, where did you put the credentials for the repo? Where did you put the credentials for the
Yeah.
repo?
So the credentials are configured here in the actual MCP server, right? So the agent itself doesn't have access to any tokens or anything, right? It's when it calls the server has access to the GitHub token, and then it can do like create PRs and do stuff like that, right? What
Right.
we could have done as well is if I just go back here, I'll just open it in a different window just to show you. What we could have done is when we were creating the tool server, we could say, oh, also, I want, like, whenever you're calling this tool, here's the auth token that I want you to use, right?
Mhm.
So it's like agent to MCP tool is using an auth token, but then also MCP server needs to have access to a GitHub token
Mhm.
that it then uses to access GitHub. Yeah, but it's all done on that side, right?
Yep.
Uh, all right, so I think this is enough for now, and we'll go and add the tools. So go here, I have GitHub PR MCP. So we know we want to clone the repo, right? We know we want to create a branch. We know we want to create a PR. We know we want to create a PR summary. So that would be the text that's part of the PR. I don't think we need commit changes. Yeah, we need to commit changes. We need to push the branch.
Branch for sure.
List branches, sure, why not? And then we need to write file in a repo, and I'll add read file in a repo as well, just so we have something. So we added a bunch of these tools. So let's create an agent, and then we'll test it. Now, here it is. So full disclosure, we did hit some issues when we were testing it. So let's see if
That's
we
it.
actually we hit some. To be clear, we hit some issues with the tokens, right? Like token permissions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can see what happens. All right, so let's see what can you do. Typical question. Let's ask it that. There you go. Right. See, it
Look
can
at that.
actually tell you,
Look
right?
at that.
Oh, this is the repo. I can do things. I can clone the repo. I can create summaries. Okay. So we have, let me actually open this on the side here. So we have a better view. There we go. And we'll go to, this is the repo, right?
That's correct.
So let's do this. Let's say create a file called kagent livestream.md with the contents hello from kagent. Right. Create a file. Okay. So create a PR with a file called and push it to the. So we'll create a new branch with with a file with a constant, then push the branch to the repo and create a PR. Now I'm very verbose, trying to be more verbose here. However, we can go back to the instructions then and actually explain it in more details. What do we wanted it to actually do when someone asks something, right? So let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. It's thinking. It's still thinking. It's thinking too long now. Oh no! Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at
You see
that.
that?
Did you
There
see
you
that?
go.
Very
Yeah,
cool. I'm
there you
glad you
go.
had that
Right.
window up.
So let's see what it did. Right. So it cloned the repo. Right. So this was the repo URL. Right. It cloned the repo. Note
Right.
that the way that I implemented this right now, at least on the MCP side, it's cloning the repo like on my machine because that's where it's running. Right. But in a temporary folder. Right. As an improvement, what you could do is, but that's on the MCP server side, right? You could have some proper storage, proper state management, right? Like all those things.
Mhm.
I right now it just goes to a temporary folder on my machine. So it cloned the repo. It created a branch. Now note that I didn't say anything
Nope.
like how to name the branch or whatever, but it figured out. It basically said created a branch called add kagent livestream file, right? Because we added a kagent livestream.md file, right? That's kind of smart, right? We didn't
That
have
is one.
to tell it much. Next was write a file in a repo. So it knew that it need to create this file with this contents. It wrote the file.
So far, so good.
Then we said, create a commit, right? Because you have to, if you think about the Git flow, like the operations of commands that one does when committing to a repository, right? Is that you clone the repo, you create a branch, you make your changes, and then you go and you do git commit, right? So this one did git commit with a message saying add kagent livestream with greeting message, right? So it actually like this makes sense as well, right? And then lastly, it pushed the branch. So you have to push your local branch. This is what popped up here. But
That's right.
looks like it didn't create a PR. I think the PR creation failed. Yeah. Right, so it tried to create a PR, but then it said, that's where we got. Like, we got a 403. This is like a GitHub token issue, right?
Ah.
Right. We got an issue there. So it actually said, yeah, it did this. It pushed the branch, so we could click here. I'm just gonna click here manually.
Yeah, it allows
Right?
you. Yeah. Yep.
And look at that, right? It was kagent livestream. I'll just create a pull request just for fun. We don't have to merge it, right? But
Yep.
it
But
created
what's
the
interesting here is you should be able to see. Now look at that. If you go
yep.
back to the PR, you'll actually see the automation kicking off now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The plan is gonna kick off, even though it's like
Mhm.
it's just a MD, but this is also testing that the actual actions are being kicked
Right.
off,
So
right?
now this is the GitHub action being triggered because we submitted a pull
Yep.
request, and
Yep.
on that action we run a Terraform plan. And as you can see, I kind of do a little summarization up there.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then if we would click merge, then the Terraform apply would run, right?
Yeah,
But
Terraform
we don't have to merge it, right? So it's all right. So we have the basic thing kind of working, right? The only thing that I would change is let me go to, and what I'll do is I'll go to the agent. Oops, not what I wanted. I wanted to edit. I'll copy this. And where is my repo? I thought I had that repo open. Anyway, I'll just create these instructions here so it's easier to like copy paste. That's the
Sure.
only thing. And we'll create the actual files, like YAML files later. So what I want to do is I'll copy this, and in the instructions, we'll say your Git PR agent knows how to work. Yeah. All right. So you will be provided provided a list of changes the user wants you to make to the repo, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This will include creating new files, updating, deleting files. I'll just do creating and updating, so we don't creating and updating existing files, right?
That's fair.
Okay, so you will follow this list of operations, right? So we'll do, yep. So I want to codify this, right? I'll say clone the repository, right? Create a new branch with an appropriate name, right? And I will say add, create and or update files. Update files, especially on list of changes, right? Commit the changes to the branch, push the branch to the repo, and create a PR, right? So basically, I told it what to do in the instructions themselves.
That's
so
right.
what if we do this? So let's say you'll be provided a list of changes. All right, let's see if this works or if we need to make more modifications here. So let's go back and I'll edit the agent instructions. I'll just copy paste that thing in here and we'll click update. Let's go back. So what I'll do now is I'll be very very brief, and I'll say new file.txt, hello from the new file. So what I'm expecting to happen here now is that it will create this new file txt, and this will be these will be the contents. So let's see
it's going to infer from that conversation.
Let's see, right?
Yes. Okay, let's see.
So it's cloning the repo, it's creating a Git branch, it's writing the file. So let's see what it wrote. There you go, new file txt.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Right? So it actually, if we go back, it didn't create a PR, right? Because we know
we got a little issue.
Yeah, it's a token issue. But if I go back here, add new file, I'll do this just so we can see. Hello from the new file, right?
So Peter, in this case, it's almost like you're kind of treating the agent like a function call almost, right? You're just giving it the parameters that you want it to kind of deal with, and then it kind of figures out the rest.
Yes. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because if I go back to our Excalibur draw,
right, that's
what we want is we don't even want this Terraform agent to call this Git PR agent. We actually want this AWS IAC agent, right?
That's right.
To call the Terraform agent to create the files, and then to call the Git PR agent to stage the changes and create the PR, right?
Right.
So however, right?
That's right. I was going to say, in this case, the AWS IAC agent is kind of coordinating. It's the coordination.
Exactly. And this will be the agent that the users will actually interface with directly, right? Nothing's preventing you from making each one of these individual agents friendly to the user, if that makes sense, right? But I'm treating it more in as you said, like as tools, if you will, right? Because I know I want to call this agent only knows how to do this. We could also we could do that. Oh, this is even better. So let's do this, right? You will be provided a list of changes in the following format, right? So we can be even more and say changes. There you go, right? And we'll say operation. We don't want commit message in the following format. And then we'll say if the file already exists, you will create it. There you go, right? So if the file already exists, you will update it by smartly determining what to change or whatever, right? that's a whole other
nother
problem area that making
mm-hmm.
changes and diffing the stuff and all that, right? And then if the file doesn't exist, you'll create it, you'll follow these. So let's actually see how to, so you'll write it in the following format, and we'll say file name, right? And file contents, right? So to make it more generic, right? So let's see how does this work. So if we go here, edit, and then I'll copy paste these things here, right? So we have, I'll just copy this. And let's do update agent. Okay, let's go back. Let's try this again, but this time I'll just paste this in and we'll say, how about we try the subfolder new file, right? Let's see if it knows how to create the files, right? Folders, right? So this is the only thing that I'm passing in right now.
Let's see what happens. Meanwhile, Jafar asks another question. Are you going to use the A2A protocol in terms of, I guess, from the Terraform?
Yeah, not in this case, because what K-Agent allows you to do is internally it can actually just use agents as tools. It doesn't have to use them as through A2A. However, maybe for next stream we could show people how you could invoke any of these agents through A2A, right? From the outside, like from Slack or from wherever you are, right? So let's see what happened. So we have that. There you go. Add subfolder. Let's see how it looks like. Did it actually create a subfolder? There you go. Subfolder new file. Right? So now we've now we made the agent more like it, so it can more understand, so it can understand a structured input, let's say, right? In a way, right? All right, so we have this. What is there? Okay, so we have some time. So we have this agent. Let's say that this is working, right? For the golden path, golden scenario, right? It works. Let's see what. Let's do green here, right?
All right.
Let's do green. So the next thing that I want to work on is this AWS IA agent, and basically connect these two agents together, right? Or have this AWS IA agent reference this Terraform agent and reference this Git PR agent.
Okay.
Before I do that, I'll go here and edit. And
while you're doing that, I'm going to ask kind of a newbie question. Okay. And hopefully you can answer this for me. Why didn't we just create one agent with all of this stuff in it? Like, why are we breaking it out into 3 and 4 different agents? Like, what is the point? Because again, this is kind of a newbie question. Can't you do everything with like Chat GPT? Can't you do everything with one LL? Isn't it smart enough to figure it all out? Like, why do we need so many different agents?
So yeah, so one of the things is this is might be personal preference, but it's if you put everything into one agent, you don't have that what's the word, like isolation or separation of concerns and functionality. So that's one. The other one is if you look at the like down here, we already have 7-8 tools here, and we probably had like 7-8 tools in the Terraform agent, right? And you might want to add even more tools. The last time I checked OpenAI, they suggest you do not add more than 20 tools to any of your, like any single agent or any single call, because it can confuse the agent, right? Like remember when the actual request is sent to the LLM, right? It will include these instructions, but it will also include the names and definitions of all the tools that agent has.
That's right.
Plus the user's question, right? Or whatever the user asked it to do. So it's kind of a way of like separating things. It's almost like, think of it, monoliths versus microservices.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Right? I was going to say it's very similar. So, agency is very similar to like the microservices, architecture, right? You want to you want to separate your roles and responsibilities as kind of atomic as you can, right? Each one kind of has its own little role and responsibility. From an architecture perspective, it's just better. It's just better for us to kind of have a more distributed approach to the system, as opposed to, as you said, Peter, being this one huge monolithic thing.
Yeah. And once you have it split like this, you can, like, the ownership can be split up as well, right? You could imagine in a bigger organization, right? It's like you're not going to have one person owning like 10,000 agents, right?
That's right.
Right? They might own like a smaller number of agents, right? And they can work on it individually, right? You don't have to have an all-knowing person that needs to know everything, right?
That's correct.
And then the other thing is testing, right? Like you saw how we were able to test this Git PR agent like with a couple of requests, basically in isolation, right? Because we know what we want this agent to do, so let's just test it, right? Like imagine if you had a one agent with like gazillion of tools. How would, I mean, you could theoretically test a
Right.
specific sub functionality, right? But this is kind of makes it easier, right? All right, so we have this Git PR agent. It's a Git PR agent that knows how to work with Git and create pull requests. So we have that. So I'll click update again. I don't know if I've changed anything or not. And then let's go and create a AWS IAC agent.
All right.
AWS IAC agent, and we'll say you are an AWS IAC agent that knows how to create Terraform configuration, how to create Terraform configuration and create PRs, or how do we want to say?
Yeah, create and submit PR.
Submit pull requests to the GitHub repositories. Right? Let's extremely simple here, because what we're going to do is I'll pick this one, tools and agents. Now I'll go under agents here. So notice previously I went to, like, we have a bunch of tools here, right? But previously I went here and I picked the Git PR MCP server to just get those tools.
Right.
But I'm not going to add any tools now. What I'll do is I'll actually add agents. So I'll add my Git PR agent that we just created, right? That knows how to work with Git and create pull requests. And we'll add, if I can find it, Terraform agent. Okay, I saw an issue. I see an issue here. Well, not an issue, but let's see. Maybe it's going to work. Notice the description here is just saying Terraform agent. It's not actually explaining what this agent does.
Mm-hmm.
So think of this explanation or description here as a hint to the caller, which is an agent in our case, that would tell the agent what this other agent knows how to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could have been more verbose, but let's just do this and see how it works, right? So we only have these two agents, so we'll add these two. And you're an AWS IC agent that knows how to create Terraform and submit pull requests to get a repository. All right, so let's do this. This one's created. It's here, right? And let's ask it what it can do. What can you do? Let's see what it'll say. There you go, right? I can help you create, modify, and manage AWS infrastructure using Terraform configuration. I can assist you in creating, submitting pull requests, blah, blah, blah. If you have any Terraform, just let me know and I'll assist you, blah, blah, blah. How can I assist you today? All right. So what are we going to do? So we'll say, let's do this. Create a Terraform config. And by the way, this is live. I haven't tried this, so maybe we'll like
truly live.
I'm just preparing myself for what happens if this fails. Right?
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
So
I actually think that's good, Peter, because like, we're showing live, like what happens, and then how, you and I as users of this technology, how do we modify it? How do we use it appropriatly? So I think it's okay. Yeah.
So we'll say create a Terraform configuration for a VM in, where we say
Virginia,
right? Virginia.
And we're being that kind of vague because we want to kind of validate the knowledge that it has about AWS, right?
Yes. So yeah, because this will like let me write it up, and then, so create this and then create a PR with the changes, right?
Cool. All right.
Right. So what I'm expecting to happen here is that the agent the agent has access to Terraform. It has access to Git PR agent. So it'll know that, okay, I have to call the Terraform agent first, right, to get the configuration, to have it create the configuration.
Sure.
And then it should figure out that, now I need to create a PR with whatever that configuration was. And for that, I'm going to call the PR agent. So in a way, this IAC agent here is almost going to act as an orchestrator in a way, right? Mm-hmm. Like an unstructured orchestrator. Let's put it that way, right? It's still an agent. It's still going to make a call to the LLM. It's not going to be deterministic, right? but we kind of giving it like verbose instructions here on what to do. All right, ready?
Let's
3,
see.
2, 1. Let's see. So it's thinking. Oh, and I should go here and see if the branch will pop up, right? Still thinking. These are the old branches. Forget about those. So it's thinking. It's thinking. Hopefully it'll start calling things soon.
Let's see.
All right, let's see. Come on.
It's thinking.
Come on. And it's still thinking. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
There
look
you
at
go.
that.
Oh, there you go.
Look
There you
at
go.
that.
There you go. Boom. Done. All right, so let's see what it did. Notice there's only 2 tool calls right now. And I'll refresh the thing here. Let's see if we have a. There you go.
Ah, look at
Look
that.
at that. All right, so let's go through this, right? So it called the Terraform agent as expected, right? The arguments, look at this, right? So this is what we said. Create a Terraform configuration for VM in Virginia, right? What this IAC agent figured out, what it actually sent to the Terraform agent is this. Create a Terraform configuration for AWS EC2 instance in Virginia region. I'm assuming that's US East 1.
That is
right?
correct. It is.
And then it's saying include basic settings like AMI, instance type, tags, right? The results, there you go. And this actually came from the Terraform agent,
That's
right? I do see one. Oh, maybe let's see how it's going to handle this, right? See how the results are formatted. So maybe you might have to do some changes there and figure that out. But I mean, that should probably save someone a lot of time already, right?
Yeah.
So once that was done, then it called the Git PR, right? It said create a pull request with the Terraform configuration in right? Let's see what this one did.
Jafar had another question here. Did you mean that at this stage, I think it was in reference to us not using A2A protocol. He was saying that the agents perceive each other merely as tools at this point. So there's no inherent or what, So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There's no I'll say there's one-way collaboration, right? It's like this IAC agent is gonna call the agents that it has access to as tools, but the agents that are being called will not make any calls back to the parent agent, if that makes sense, right? So it's like a one-way collaboration, if you will. Right.
Yeah, I think you described it correct. It's an orchestra. It's literally an orchestrator, right? It's literally saying now the flute's playing. Now the
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a conductor in a way.
Kind of like a conductor in a way.
Yeah. So all right. So the PR agent got called. So this is, I mean, the display is kind of weird here, but we can go through it, right? Clone the repository. It knew the repository to clone because remember, that's what we told the GitHub agent there.
Okay.
Cloned it. Created a branch. Look at that. Add AWS EC2 instance Virginia, right? Very informative, I guess. Write the files. So it created a file. Region. There you go. So AWS EC2 instance uses1.tf, right? Wrote the file and then committed the changes, pushed the branch, and then created a PR summary. Oh, there was an error here. So I don't know. It was listing branches. Oh, I know why. All right, it was listing. It still did it, but I know why. Because this is Peter problem. Because it works from one repo, so it probably didn't go to the main branch or something. I don't know, but anyway, it did create the branch. So here's the result, right? So then this overarching agent will actually summarize the results from both agents, and it's going to say created the Terraform, right? It did this, pushed them, blah blah blah, and then it failed to create which we know, right? So let's see if I do compare, and let's see if it actually, look at that. Does that look right? I don't know.
That does look correct. Again, what it's doing here is it kind of is just creating the AWS instance itself. Now, now what we might want to do, this is where it gets a little interesting, right? So there's some existing code, right? There's some existing code that is in the Terraform repo. And that existing code actually creates the initial VPC, it creates the subnet, it creates the security groups, it creates everything but the EC2 instance itself. So what I was kind of expecting it to do was, instead of like just creating like its own, Terraform configuration file, that it actually sees that the AI agent, that the repo already has everything carved out, and it just needs to add that piece. That's kind of what I was hoping we would.
Let's see.
Let's
see. And I'll tell you why it doesn't do that, right?
Okay,
It's not going to do that because we didn't tell it to do that, right? Right. So no one. So this is the Git PR agent, right? So let's say if we do here, you're a PR that knows how to work. No, the only already read. Okay, we'll say if you will read all existing files in the repository.
Like I was going to
say, right, like something like that. When asked to create, well, okay, let me think. Let me think where it's almost like this Terraform agent.
I think that should be in the Terraform agent.
Would need to have an access to the either Git PR agent or the the server to be able to pull down stuff, right? See what it is, and then incorporate changes.
That's right.
Into those. So let's do it there. Let's see. So let's go agent, and we'll go to, where is it? Terraform, right? So Terraform agent, efficient, secure, Terraform, all the rules. Okay, we'll see. You have when let me see how to phrase this. When asked to create configuration, you will check the existing TF files, right? TF file, existing configuration. I'll do .tf files, right? Files from using the Git PR agent. Let's do that, right? The Git PR agent. You will incorporate the new changes into the existing files, right? I think is that good enough, right?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. When asked to create the configuration, you will check the existing configuration files using the Git PR agent. You will incorporate the new changes into the existing. Ensure that your resources are incorporated with the existing resource, something like that. In other words,
is it AWS resources from the configuration?
Terraform resources is really
Terraform. Okay, ensure Terraform resources from the repository are
incorporated with the existing. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Oh, you will ensure Terraform resources you create, right? Are incorporated with the existing, right?
Correct. Are they incorporated with the existing resources in the repository, something like that?
So let's see. I mean, there might be a lot of like back and forth and testing here to make sure that this works, but
this is important, right? So when when we're developing our AI agencies, right, we need to do so in a safe environment. We need to do so in like a the dev environment, right? You don't want to do this straight out in production.
Don't go to production.
There's a lot of kind of, as you can see, there's a lot of sort of back and forth to make sure the agent is doing what you want it to do at the quality that you want it to do.
Yeah. So let's see. We might have to play and massage these instructions a little bit more, but now I'll go here and I'll add the PR agent here as well, right? There you go. So let's do this. Okay, so I just want to go back here and I'll delete this repo state. So we start from a clean slate, right? And then or do we want to go? Let's test this one individually, right? This is the Terraform agent. This is the one that we just changed, so it has access to the Git PR agent. So what do we want to say? We want to say add an EC2 instance or something? Would that be?
So which I'm sorry, which Terraform?
Oh, this was this is the Terraform agent. So right now it has access to. It should know how to pull the existing changes.
Yeah, you could say create an EC2 instance. I guess it's okay for us to say that now. I mean, we already know that we've baked in the AWS knowledge. So
yeah, so let's see. I'm hoping if this is not gonna work, we'll just have to massage the instructions a little bit more, because this should now know to call the PR agent, Git PR agent, to actually pull the contents, assuming that works, right?
Yeah.
We haven't tested it yet, right?
Yeah.
To pull the contents and then use that as an input to actually go and create an EC2 instance. So it should basically, I think, return us this file that we have here, but with some, like, I know that's commented out here, right? But with some EC2 instance configuration in that file.
That's what I'm hoping.
Right? Like this
it
whole
would be
file.
really
right?
smart if it just uncommented what was there. Like that would be.
I mean, yeah. Theoretically, if it creates the exact same thing, we'll see it as
it should be close.
If
yeah,
it's uncommenting it. Yeah, it's just, oh, there you go. So Git PR agent. I don't know. Is this the same? It's not the same.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know.
No, I don't think it is. But it. We'll see what it did. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, let's see what it does.
All right, so let's go here and see what it did. So clone the repo. That's fine. Read file in the repo. All right, so it did actually read main.tf, right?
It read main. Yep.
Did read it and then write file. All right, so it actually made changes to. Okay, so successfully write file. It created another. No, it made some more changes to the file. Created a branch. It actually created a PR already. So that's maybe we should use.
So maybe look at the Let's look at the what it actually.
Look at what it did, because I think what we should have done instead of having, because remember in the Git PR agent we told it to create the PR and all that, right? Did it? Was it this one? Let's see. Commit changes.
Yeah, 1 minute ago, I think.
Oh yeah, it was definitely this one. Yeah,
it has to be that one.
Add a data source. Create a new security group.
So let's look at the code.
Oh, look at that! It did update.
It did do it. Look at that.
Right? So it added the data source, and it kind of.
It looked like it uncommented it.
It removed it. It removed it, right? But it added the security.
But then it also added some other stuff. Look at that.
But you know what? This security access, if we go back, let me go and edit, just to edit, to show the instructions here.
Yeah.
Right? We did tell it to create a security group. Remember?
That's why it did.
Right? Because we told this Terraform agent to create the security group, right? Because it also added these tags, right? Yeah. And then it created a T3 micro, because that's what we told it.
That's correct. We told it that.
Right? Here, T3 micro, subnet. It's using the same subnet that you had there, right?
That's good. Yeah.
It did use the tags of Terraform, but again, we told it to do so, right? So it's kind of, think of this as a very junior
Right. Yep.
DevOps, SRE, platform engineer, developer type of person, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, kind of it followed the instructions, right? But it wasn't smart enough to be like, oh, I should probably keep the name as web server there as well.
Yeah.
Right? But I bet you if we do this, any resource you must have the following, any resource you create must have the following tags. If a resource, oh no, it's not gonna work because this one was commented out. Never mind. So it's not like it removed anything, right? Because this was just commented out. So it just
commented out,
removed it, right? Because it was commented out. But I bet what we could do, let's try this. What is the time? Oh, we're getting at time. So
about 5 minutes. Yeah.
So if I remove the agent, I'll go back, and instead of adding the agent itself, I'll add the tools. Like, why not? Right? We need to clone the repo. We don't want to create a PR. We don't want to create the PR summary, right? We can, where's the thing? We can list files in the repo, and we can read files in the repo, right?
That's right.
We can only read, right? So let's see what happens if we do this. I'll restart this just because, and I'll delete the state here. There you go. So now we have, instead of having that agent, we know how to clone the repo, list files in the repo, and read files in the repo, right? So what we'll do here is, when asked to create, you'll check using when you will check the existing configuration in the repo. We also note we have to tell it what the repository is now, right?
Yep.
And the repository is here.
Example Terraform repo.
This guy, right? Repository. It will ask to create. You will check the existing configuration in the repository. You will read all configuration and incorporate, right? You will read configuration and ensure Terraform resources you create are incorporated with the existing resources in the repository, right? Makes sense? You modifying and updating existing resources is preferred.
Correct.
Preferred over creating new ones, right? In a way, right? What I wanted to do here is, where if there's already like a security group, don't modify, like don't create a new one, go and like modify the existing one.
Yeah. Something that says if the resource that you need is already created, don't you can say something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, so let's update here. Okay, so I'll go back. Where were we? Down here. And we'll say create an EC2 instance, right? That was the create an EC2 instance. All right, let's see what happens here. Now I'll refresh. So it cloned the repo. It lists the files in the repo. It's reading the files in the repo.
All right.
And it's doing something here. Oh, it actually returned us the AWS instance. So it read the thing. So see the comment thing.
Yeah.
What did it return? Why? Oh, let me do this. Tags. Okay, I know what it actually just returned what
it's returning what you need to add. Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, go here.
It's returning the resource.
You will read all the insurance you create, modify. Always return the full resource with any any changes you made, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So as far as saying why you didn't put the prompt compare the code in the Orchestrator and not in the Terraform, so the Orchestrator give the file as a well, that's a good point. We could do it there as well. You're completely right. We could have done it there as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that could be.
That actually might be better for it to do. Like, in other words, it presents like the code that it needs to change, and then that's a great point, Jafar. Then the AWS IA agent will say, okay, this looks good. Now you Git MCP, you go create a PR for this.
So I'll do this. So I removed those instructions from the Terraform agent. I went to the AWS agent and said, when asked to create configuration, you will check the existing configuration in the repository blah, right? You will read all configuration and ensure Terraform resources you create are incorporated with the existing resources in okay.
Right.
Is this so when asked to create configuration, you will check the existing configuration. Then you will use the Terraform agent to create the new agent
to create the new
updated
updated configuration or something like that.
Create the updated configuration based on the existing files, right?
Yes.
Existing files. Maybe okay. So you'll read all configuration and ensure. Maybe this doesn't make sense. So you'll check all existing configuration in the repository. Then you will use the Terraform agent to create the updated configuration based on the existing files. Modifying always return default. This doesn't make sense, right? Then you will use Terraform to create. Once you have validated and ensured the configuration is correct, you will use the Git PR agent to submit a PR.
Submit.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
But now we also need to go to this one and add it tools, right? To clone the repo, to do the read-only
Do the other
operations,
part. Yeah.
basically. Yeah. Create, git commit, get diff,
So as you can see, I guess what we're kind of also realizing and recognizing here is that once you have multiple agents, that especially in K agent, like you have to make sure that the roles and responsibilities are clearly identified between each one. And the amazing part about it and the scary part about it, I guess at the same time, is that you can kind of define this stuff anywhere, right? So it's we are on the fly during a live stream trying to figure out like where should the right functions be in what agent, right? And so you can see it's a lot of kind of trial and error and
existing.
This becomes development now, right?
Yeah, so, create an updated configuration. Okay,
yeah.
So basically, I told it explicitly to create configuration. When it has to create, you will check all existing configuration in the repository using the clone, list, and read. Then you will use the Terraform agent and send it the existing configuration with the task, with the description, and with the task to create an updated configuration.
Yeah.
To create. Also, to incorporate. But then you say a task that explains what to incorporate, in that configuration.
Yep.
What to incorporate. Once you have validated and ensured the configuration, you will use the Git PR agent to submit a PR, right? This one. All right. Last one for today.
Last one for the
All right. All right. So let's see. What can you do? What can you do? See what it thinks it can do. All right. So it can analyze, create, validate. All right. That sounds all right. So let's say create an EC2 instance, right? In Virginia. Just for the heck of it. So let's see. This will. All right. So cloning the repo, reading the files.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. It read the variables. It read the outputs. It's calling the. Okay. It currently provisions. There you go.
Right? There we go. Now
right? That's what you wanted in a way. Right?
Yes.
All right. So I was expecting it to pass in the existing actual, like the contents of the file, but it's not. It's still doing something. Well, let's see.
I will now proceed. I guess it's going to make the.
I mean, it is saying the instance will use existing variables for AMI ID and instance type, right?
Yep.
So let's see. It's still thinking. I don't know why is it taking so long, but now it's probably calling the Git.
It's calling the Git stuff. Yeah.
It's calling the Git agent, and we don't have the. Oh, there you go. Or 6 seconds ago. Yeah.
Hadn't responded yet.
Oh, there you go. Oh, it failed to create an PR, which is fine.
But that's okay. We know that.
Okay.
Right. Now, if you
look at that.
That's it. That's
what you wanted, right?
That's
what you wanted. So it actually uncommented what you hadn't commented in.
Right.
What else did it do? Oh, it actually went in outputs and did the same.
Oh, wow.
Look at that, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And what was here? What was the change here? I don't see. I don't think it did anything. It just removed the comment, I guess.
Removed the comment, yeah.
But hey, it actually did, right? I mean, we kind of hinted at it, right? What to do. So if I create a pull request here now, now it's gonna kick off, right?
Now when it kicks off, it's gonna tell you like what it's actually going to try to create. Now here's the thing. I don't think I actually created any of the resource. Maybe the VPC got created or something. I did run.
Wait, it's fine, but that's like a it's like a non-AI thing after this anyway.
It's done. Right. This is just normal GitOps workflow at this point.
Yeah. But anyway, so it actually worked. I want to try another thing. It's
sure.
Just for fun. So we'll do this. I'll just, again, this is all development thing here. So I'm just restarting it there. So what I'll do, you know what we forgot? We actually forgot to tell it to use this format, but it still figured it out.
They still
You
figured it
know.
out, but yeah.
All right. So what I want to do now is, as we have that PR, doesn't really matter. So what else could we ask it to do to actually? So it's not a VM. Could we ask it to create something else?
You could try, but it's not going to let you.
Oh,
And the
that's fine, but it's just gonna create a PR, right? Like
yeah,
that's gonna work. That's what I
yeah.
wanted.
You could ask it to create anything,
Create a
but
Kubernetes
what's going to
cluster.
stop it is the CI.
So create a Kubernetes cluster with 3 nodes and
Yeah.
a VM and 2 VMs
in Virginia. Say
in
like
Virginia. In Virginia, I don't know how to spell. The VMs should not have SSH access enabled, right?
okay,
Just for fun.
let's
Just
see.
I'm curious what it's gonna, if it's gonna actually like figure out like how good is it gonna go and figure out the like what it needs to do. But I mean, I didn't expect this to be perfect. It's definitely not perfect, right? But think about how far we got in like an hour,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
for someone who's not like a platform engineer, right, who doesn't know Terraform, aka me, right? I mean, I could create some Terraform now using an agent, right? If you think about it.
You could.
But look at that. It actually explained, right? To say no ingress, adjust security groups, keep the cluster and VMs in public subnet, right? There you go. It created something,
Yeah.
right? And now we'll see how this gets incorporated. Like if will it use the main TF and how well that's mainly what I want to see, right?
Yep.
So let's see. That is the last thing that we'll try today. If anyone is still watching, I see a couple of people are still watching. Let us know how you like this. If this is something that like, would you want us to do more of, or if you have any other ideas that we could try and play with.
We have one more in this series,
Yes.
right, where we're going to kind of connect all of this up, and I think we have that AWS validation agent, right? This is
Yes. Yeah.
this is the part where it's going to actually look, in the at the AWS resources to see whether
Once it's deployed, right?
once it's deployed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Once it's deployed, it's going to kind of validate, yes, this actually got created, right? So
Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah, you're right. So we need a way to validate. So we got up to here, right?
we get up to this point. Yep.
The PR gets merged, and then we need another agent to actually go and validate that stuff was created.
That's
But everything should work. Like next time, it should not stop here. Well, actually, we'll have to figure out how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll have to because it's not like it's not there's a pause in between, if you know what I mean. Like the human has to go and actually merge the PR, right?
Merge
But
PR.
maybe we can ask the user to, oh, you know what we could do? Maybe we could ask the agent, like once the PR is merged, where we could tell agent, hey, go and check if everything that was added and or modified in PR 1 through 3 was actually realized in AWS.
Yeah.
Right?
We
Could do it that way.
Yeah.
All right, so moment of truth. Let's look at the PR. So it added IAM roles, created AKS cluster, added 2 instances with no SSH access. Oh, look at that. Update variables and added outputs for cluster. So it actually used the existing files.
And it should. And the reason why is because, right, our Terraform repo, is in the best practice kind of format.
Yeah.
Right? The way that it's laid out. I don't want it to like make up its own way of, kind of organizing the files. So it's good that it actually just, modify what was already there.
Nodes, right? Create 2 VMs with no SSH. Fix the outputs, added the EKS out, right? So it did do stuff, right?
Yep.
All right. I mean, this was fun for me.
No, hey, live agent development. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks to you for taking the time. Thanks everyone for watching. And as I said, like if this was useful, let us know, right? Let us know Let us know in the comments, I guess, or LinkedIn, or like we're you can find us. Like if people want to find us, they'll find us somewhere, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank
So
you for taking us through this, Peter. It's fun to watch,
yeah,
fun to go through. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah. All
yeah.
right. Well, we'll see everyone next week, I guess.
All right.
All
Until
right.
next week.
All right. Bye bye.
Later, folks.